we needed that. We really needed that. Not just us. I think Graham Potter needed that. It wouldn't have made good reading, would it? I think 1 win in 7. That looks a lot better now. And you could even hear the murmurings in the build-up to this game, which was, well, hold on a second, there's not a lot of difference in terms of results between Graham Potter and Julian Lopetegui. Now, I think in the main, most people will read into it and understand the difference, which is you looked at Lopetegui and you didn't think it would ever get any better. I think most of us hope that in the long term, things will get better under Potter. But he did not have a chance to implement his tactics in this game. We'll talk more about him tomorrow. Him individually, because I want to talk about the players today, because I don't think anybody played badly in this game. But I certainly feel whatever it was he was up to against Brentford, in this game he went, don't worry about that, we're going to go with the park the bus tactics in this one. And I think it worked really well. I do wonder, look, I've no doubt that Arsenal fans will be really, really unhappy with what happened today. And I'm sure it'll be sort of called a smash and grab or this, that and the other. But make no mistake about it, I had a little look at the stats before jumping on and doing this video. They had 20 shots, but 2 on target, which makes it right. Because when I was going to go through the players, I was going to say that Areola really didn't have anything to do. I remember he did really well from a cross. He saved with his legs. I can't remember anything else. And that is testament to the way that everybody played in front of him. And I do mean everybody. And while some of them put in, some of them were more technical than others, there was a real shift from a number of players. And I think Mohamed Kudus, I was going to say in case I forget, I'm not going to forget because we will talk about him a lot. That was his best game for some time, certainly. And I think, fair play to Areola. He didn't have many saves to do, but we tested him in as much as we were passing the ball back to him quite a lot and really sort of testing his kicking game. So yeah, I mean, well done, everyone. It was magnificent. I thought that was a really, really good performance, and I'd be lying if I said I had an utter belief that we could win. But if you saw the video that I published it last night, but many of you would have seen it this morning. I did wonder, can we burst the bubble? Can we spoil the title parade? And I'm glad we did. I'm not going to pretend anything else. Did the video, and there was a few Arsenal fans on there who, they're a little bit wounded by the fact that, you might want to rain on their parade, and they're saying it's your West Ham's cup final and the rest of it. I wouldn't quite call it our cup final, but it's good. I think look, there's an image, I'll probably use it on the thumbnail, of Jarrod Bowen scoring the winner, and he's stooping past Declan Rice to head the goal. Who doesn't? What West Ham fan doesn't like to see that sort of thing? I was absolutely buzzing with that. Let's deal with a few of the players, because look, it was backs to the wall stuff, certainly for the early part of the game. And I think for a lot of people, I'm just going to bring up the stats again now. I think after the first 10 minutes, you're probably looking at it and you're probably thinking, this is we're in for a long day here, and you sort of wondered how long we were going to be able to keep it up for. I've got to say, by the time we'd done maybe the first 10 minutes after the second half, I thought, we're going to do this. We're going to keep them out. I know I've said it a few times, but Graham Potter's first job coming into West Ham would have been to sort out the defence. And it was that what we saw. Do you want to call it Moyes ball? Something like that. Now, in many respects, people might say Moyes ball has changed. If you looked at the way that Everton played on the front foot today in the first half against Manchester United, that's a very, very different version of Moyes, isn't it? But the sort of Moyes ball from West Ham, and obviously we won under Moyes at the Emirates last season, of course. This was a little bit more of that, actually. And I certainly don't think that this is the way that Potter's going to want to play. And I mean in the long term. But there was enough of a pragmatist in him to have a look and think, no, I'm going to do this today. And I don't think his defence let him down. He went back to the back three, and I thought they were magnificent. Todibo lasted 60 minutes, and I guess he was knackered, or maybe it was probably pre-agreed that he'd play 50 minutes. First game back in a little while. I thought he was really, really good. I think he was faultless. Well, he must be. Look, they've had 2 shots on target. 2 shots on target. The amount of blocked shots. I'm really looking forward, actually. On Monday, we do something on our Patreon. We do something called Stat Attack. And we have a little look at the statistics. We've got this sort of Y-Scout software, the scouting software, which is really good and sort of allows you to have take a deep dive into what's happened. Be really interested to see the blocks and the clearances and all that type of stuff. There'd have been a lot of them, and there has to be. If a team are going to have 20 shots and the goalkeeper's only going to have 2 saves to make, then it tells you that Summit's been going really, really well in defence. Kilman just got better as the game went on. A really, really good block on Declan Rice, by the way. But I think, you could pick out... I think there was a point where Kilman missed a header and Todibo swept up really well behind him. He played well. Cresswell, what can you say? It's magnificent. What we've seen from Cresswell, I think, is absolutely magnificent. I think, if this is his last season, it probably is his last season. What a way to go out. He seemed like almost like a master of his craft, if you want, playing that left centre-back role. I know he's not played there for the majority of his career, but really, really good. There's so many players to touch on here, and I probably... let's try and have a word on almost every single one, if you want. Ollie Scholes, he should get that. He deserved his spot, because I thought he'd been better than Emerson. He reads the game well. He tackles really, really well and played his part. Everyone played their part in that defensive performance. I think he should start the next game, and I think he probably will. There was one particular tackle on Wanyeri, which I thought was particularly good. Really, really well timed. Just really good hand-eye coordination or hand or foot-eye coordination, should we say? Did really well on that. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, weirdly, I thought it was one of his worst games defensively. However, I do also think that it was possibly one of his best attacking games. There was a point during the game where our first chance was set up by Wan-Bissaka. Really good run, really good dribble. Passed it into Jarrod Bowen. It was on his right foot, and he fluffed his lines, basically, Bowen did. He pulled it a lot. I know it was in his weaker foot, but he pulled it a lot further wide, I think, than ordinarily he would have liked to. And ordinarily you would expect him to do a lot better from there. But it was really good from Wan-Bissaka. We weren't going to have to wait too long before he repeated the trick. Now, the West Ham goal, I thought was absolutely magnificent, by the way. Absolutely magnificent, because it took so much time. It was the longest 1-2 you've ever seen in your life. I mean, it basically involved Bowen and Wan-Bissaka. Bowen started the move, went to Wan-Bissaka, and Bowen finished the move. Before I talk about that, can I please point you in the direction of today's video sponsor, which is Stocks FC. What's Stocks FC? It's a bit like the stock market, but for footballers. It allows you to buy shares in footballers. Now, before you go pledging any of your money, if you click that QR code, which is somewhere up there, or use the link in the description below, Hammers Chat are going to allow you to play for a month for free, so as you can get used to it, because by using the promo code and using the QR code, Stocks FC are going to give you 5 players for free on loan, so as you can learn the nuances of the game. I've been playing it for a little while. I'm making a profit, and if you're a regular follower of the channel, I've been sharing my progress with you. I'll do a little bit more in a couple of days. You can see I actually bought shares of Jarrod Bowen when he was injured. I'm really pleased that I did. I've been doing all right. I've made myself a couple of quid. I'm not betting big, the truth be known. It's a couple of pound here, it's £3 there, that sort of thing. But I was able to test it out with these 5 loan players. As I say, links in the description below. Go and check it out. Buy yourself some shares. Box clever, box smart. Work out who you think is going to be coming into form. Maybe have a little look at the fixtures coming up for the certain teams. In many respects, it's a bit like the football stock market, a bit like fantasy football, because it does also pay out for your player getting in team of the week or getting an assist or getting a goal. I'll definitely be getting that for Bowen, which I'm going to talk about now, because that bloody goal I thought was magnificent. Bowen had the ball in our defensive half. When he gave the ball to Wan-Bissaka, he had to wait such a long time. The amount of time that Wan-Bissaka killed waiting for Jarrod Bowen to get back up to the attack. And let's be fair, Bowen had a long, long way to run to get back up in the attack. And he waited and he waited. He did a step over. He killed some time, and he delivered an absolutely sumptuous cross to Bowen, who dived, headed the ball in. 1-0. I mean, it just stayed 1-0. It probably should and could have been 2-0 at the end. We'll get to that in a little bit, because we're going to have to talk about Kudus, because I think he's my man of the match for today. Mohamed Kudus, just thought he did so damn well. Absolutely incredible from him, actually. So, yeah, Bowen, a relatively quiet game, all things said and done, but, he was there when it mattered. He's just got such a good scoring record. I think that was his 50th goal for West Ham, by the way. Look, Thomas Souček, I thought he was a bit clumsy in terms of his passing, his technique at the start. By the end of it, he just battled so hard. when we start to look and we look at the statistics and we look at those blocks, he'll have a really important block in there. In fact, one of his tackles helped set up one of our attacks, and that was early in the second half. Very good. Edson Alvarez gave everything. Absolutely everything. I thought he was magnificent. I was I was proud of everyone. I thought everyone was sensational. Look, if you want a breakdown of all of our play, or what we think of all the players, then join us for the player ratings. We've got a 7-day free trial. Join us for the player ratings over on our Patreon page, which will be on Monday. Look, Mohamed Kudus. Let's not put this off any longer. Absolutely incredible. They're such a physical team, Arsenal. The way that they play is quite menacing. Is quite a bullying aspect to it. He started more on the left-hand side, if you want. He was trying to link with Ollie Scarles, playing with his back to goal quite a lot, shielding the ball, using his strength. And I just feel like he wore them down. By the end of it, he'd got Lewis-Skelly sent off, and rightly so. He was causing absolute havoc. That was Mohamed Kudus's best game for a long time, and I was absolutely delighted to see it. And I do wonder if he was doing that display because it was like within the parameters of maybe the style he was more used to last season. We'll discuss Potter, as I said. We'll do that in tomorrow's video, but I think incrementally he's going to address this stuff. It's going to take time. I think we'll be playing a lot more low block this season, and I don't blame him at all. It was a lot of damage been done over the past 12 months to defence, and I think he wants to try and I say repair the goal difference. Is more about getting some points. I'm glad we did get some points. I mean, you look at the Wolves win today. It just the league looks better. I know we're nowhere higher up the league or anything like that. But you start to look at the teams in the relegation spots, and now I think even the people that were worried about relegation surely now will be thinking, okay, we don't have to worry about that. A little word about James Ward-Prowse as well. I think he'll get in. I think he'll start the next couple of games. The reason I'm laughing is because he got outpaced by a goalkeeper when a goalkeeper came up. At the end, Arsenal got, well, like teams do at the end of the game when they're losing. And you understand why Arsenal would do it. That's a big deal for them today. That's really handed a massive advantage to Liverpool in the title race. So they were throwing everyone up, including the goalkeeper. And in the end, basically, West Ham won the ball. And Ward-Prowse had a foot race with their keeper, and he lost. But I thought he was good. I thought he was decent. I thought he kept the ball ticking over. And early on, when we were struggling for a bit of possession, I thought he played it safe. And he really... We didn't press that much, but at the times when we did press, I thought he was really on it. Such high energy. I think Potter's just going to take a look at him and think, I've got to have him in my team. I'm not saying beyond next... Who knows what's going to happen next season. For this season, I do think it was a really, really wise decision to bring Ward-Prowse back. And I think such was the endeavour of the front two, if you want to call them that. They played wide, they dropped deep, whether you want to call Bowen or Kudus the front two. They probably weren't, but if you want to call them that, such was the endeavour and the energy that they'd put in that Evan Ferguson was, stayed on the bench for a long, long time, basically. But however, when he did come on, we went on a counter-attack, and Kudus, probably almost like the only thing that Kudus did wrong all day was... We had a 2-on-1, and he went and passed. He just passed it a little bit behind Evan Ferguson. It sort of killed the attack. I think it would have been 2-0, should have been 2-0. I think there'd been absolute uproar if there was. And I'm sure there'd be Arsenal fans saying, hold on, they didn't deserve to win that. They will think, West Ham, that we didn't deserve to win this game. I felt we did. I'm not saying we attacked more than them. We didn't. Where's those statistics? I pulled them up a second ago. We had 5 shots and 2 shots on target. They had 20 shots, 2 shots on target. They had double the passes that we had. They had 68 possession. But this is Arsenal, right? This is Arsenal. And they are a brilliant team, a big club. And, let's just put this into context. Arsenal were able to take our best player, Declan Rice, and they just took him off us. We tried to price him out of the move, and they still took him off us. That's how big a club Arsenal are. And as I say, there was a lot of spiky Arsenal fans in the chat last night. It is a rivalry. It's a football rivalry, and I make no apologies for wanting to beat Arsenal to stop their title challenge. I make no apologies for wanting to get one over on Declan Rice for leaving us. I was delighted what Declan did for us. He lifted a trophy with us. I'm absolutely delighted with it, and Yeah, there you go. I'm going to make no apologies for that. I'm sure Arsenal fans are absolutely seething. But if Arsenal do miss out on a title, and I think they probably will, it ain't going to be because of what happened against little old West Ham. That is not going to be the case at all. It's because they ain't been good enough over the course of the season. They probably didn't buy a striker when they were supposed to or when they wanted to. I mean, the other thing I'd say about them as well is that they'll talk about their injury crisis. Well, we've got it. We're missing Antonio and we're missing Fulkrug as well. We're missing Crescencio Somerville. We're obviously missing Lucas Paqueta. Those are really big players for us. Basically, our strikers and the guy that loads the bullets, our best attacking passer, our best creative midfielder, are missing him as well. So, yeah, Arsenal had it a little bit tough today, but so did we. And that's why I'm doubly proud, I think, and doubly pleased for Graham Potter. Because that was crap. That was absolute shite against Brentford, wasn't it? And, he's come back and he's thought, do you know what? We'll go again. He had that little... I don't know if you can have a spring in your step in your voice, but I felt he had a spring and a step in his voice, the way he was discussing stuff in his pre-match press conference ahead of this game. That's a really good away win. A really, really good away win. I think that just calms the nerves of everybody, and we can look forward to Thursday. I think it's Thursday night's game against Leicester. That allows us to really look forward to that, and and sort of fingers crossed. Hope back-to-back wins. I think would be enormous for the club in terms of the club's recovery. Enormous for Graham Potter as well. Be really, really good for him to do that. Anyway, I'm gonna love you and leave you now. Don't forget, check out the Stocks FC. Use the QR code, links in the description below. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll have a chat about Graham Potter.